Oh my God. Did you survive the eclipse? Did you survive the earthquake last week? Holy cow, what a week it's been. And we are back. Thank you for joining me tonight. My name is Jackie Baker, and this is your live weekly dose of real estate reality. Thanks so much for being here. So, yeah, lots of crazy stuff that went on this past week. We had the earthquake here in Jersey. We had the eclipse today. A bunch of us thought the world was ending, yet here we are. None of that happened. But another thing that's still the same is this crazy real estate market and the affordability issue that many people are experiencing. And we talk about this all the time. So we're going to discuss how people are actually giving up meals to be able to afford a home. It's true. True story. So I am so happy to bring back my friend Jen Sylvester from Plymouth, Massachusetts. Let me bring her on. Where are you? Oh, are you pretending to be the eclipse?
I'm the eclipse. That never happened in Massachusetts.
Right? What
Sorry,
was
I had
that,
to do a
Jen?
bit.
What was that?
I don't know, like me, like being a sun rising or something.
You did a better job than the actual sun did.
Let me tell you something. The eclipse was like, we're coming. Texas, we got you. Mexico, we got you.
Yeah.
Massachusetts, I don't think so.
Yeah, same with Jersey. Yeah, Jersey. Let's throw some clouds in there, and
yeah,
and
you'll
miss it completely.
I don't think so. I'm like standing out there looking for the. I'm like, I'm waiting, and I'm like, it's still sunny out.
Yeah.
What the heck?
Yeah.
It's all a sham. It didn't really happen.
No, but we're still here. There's, the world didn't end as everyone was like fearing that was going to happen. And
well, with the earthquake and everything.
Well, the earthquake. Yeah. Thank God I don't live in California. I would not survive that. Oh my God.
You Californians, man.
God bless you, Californians.
Much
I don't
cred.
know how you do it.
Huge cred, because I don't know how you guys do it. Like, it was like a little tiny, I felt like I was in one of those cheap massage chairs. Yeah. And I was like, what in the world's going on?
No, not here. I thought my bathroom mirror was coming down. It was shake the whole house, and the rumbling. You could hear the rumble, like, oh my God. Like, this is a real thing. This is like the real deal. It's a real earthquake. Yeah. Yeah.
Bonkers City. But
yes,
hey, we live to talk about it. So we can talk about real estate craziness.
It's like what we always do, right? We're so good at it too. We're so good at it.
There's just, the real estate market and everything that goes along with it. It just gives us tons of good material. Like, it's no short. It's like the Tonight Show when the politicians go sideways. It's like, it's a blessing. Because it tons to talk about.
I know.
And well, this week didn't let us down.
No. Never does. Here we are. Interest rates are still high, but yet the market is still insane. Working with buyers and nothing to buy, but yet people are still throwing any dollar amount at a house to put an offer in. They'll do anything to get it, and it's sickening. But let's get into this article about the sacrifices people are making in order to get a house. So let me pull this one up, Jen, and oh my gosh, I got really upset when I saw this. All right, here we go. Skipping meals and working overtime, the sacrifices Americans make to afford housing. So these bullet points right in the beginning of the article, it says half of homeowners and renters struggle to afford their housing payments. A recent Redfin survey found roughly 1 in 5 who struggle to afford housing have skipped meals and or worked extra hours to help cover costs, while about 1 in 6 have delayed medical care. Skipping vacations was the most common sacrifice among white and Asian respondents, while Black respondents were most likely to work extra hours. A surprisingly high share of millennials, most of whom are not retired, obviously, have dipped into retirement savings so they can afford housing. Jen, this is just mind-blowing. Just to see how bad it is.
Well, okay. So can I play devil's advocate?
Oh, please do.
I don't think it's as bad. I don't think it's bad news. I think it's sad. It's sad from a 30,000 foot view,
right?
Of the fact that this is where our affordability crisis is that people are having to do this. However, the fact is like I read an article the other day that talked about how these young males, right? We're talking, Gen Zs are staying at home. It's predominantly the ones that don't go to college, and they're staying home, and they're not moving out.
Right.
They're not moving out. They're staying home. That's preventing a lot of the boomers or elder Gen X's, I guess, from selling their house because these kids are there, and because it's way cheaper to stay at home than it is to move out and be on their own and pay rent in the whole 9 yards. The problem is that they're not also willing to make sacrifices. And I've seen this a lot where it's like, oh, we can't afford the rent, but we have a $700 car payment. And we're going to go do the thing. We're going to get the $1,500 new iPhone. And we're going to go we're going to go to Cancun for the weekend. I have a client who is of elder Gen X age and wants to sell the property. They moved into an in-law. Okay, they moved. It's a home with an in-law. They moved into the in-law. It's a very nice in-law, but they allowed the adult children with the kids to move into the main house temporarily. That was 2 years ago.
Yeah,
okay, now they want to move. They're like, we're done. We want to be out of cold weather, the whole 9 yards. The kids can't afford to move. And as I'm walking around the house, I'm looking and I'm going, this guy's got a nicer stuff in his garage than I do. I've been in my house 24 years.
So wait, the
toys,
the
multiple
kids?
Cars. Do you know what I'm saying? It's the exact opposite.
But you're talking about the older kids? The older kids that live in the house?
Older, I say they're millennials. There's you know what I'm saying? I don't know exactly.
They have the nice cars and all that stuff. And
in other words, they're the exact opposite of what this article is talking about. And if they sacrificed, and I don't know their situation, I don't know their inner workings of, personal information, all the things, but the reality of it is like, I know that when I bought my first place, right? You can probably relate. Like I was rubbing nickels together to get the down payment. And I was scrimping and scraping to just get my foot in the door into my first condo, just so that I can say that I own something. And the reality of it is because I did that, and then I traded up to a property that needed work. And yes, it was hard, and more people are going to have to do it now, but the payout, you appreciate it more, right?
Absolutely.
I got into a property way younger than I would have if I ended up just going to buy truth be told, like iPhone, this was before iPhones, like flip phones. Nokia flip phones.
We didn't have that. Wasn't a thing.
Nobody. It wasn't a thing, but like the friends still had the gaming stations and all the stuff, And I had a beater car. I could have gone and bought a nice car, whatever. But I guess my point is to play devil's advocate that, the bigger picture, I think, is the media is making this sensationalizing this article, saying it's so terrible. And it's not great, but are there also positives to this? Like I commend somebody who, I mean, it's sad, but I commend someone to be like, I want to own a home so badly. This is what I'm willing to do to get my foot in the door.
Right. And
so what are your thoughts?
Listen, I totally agree with you there. But when I'm looking at the chart here, right? Can you see this where it showed the percentage of how many said took no or fewer vacations, 34.5%.
Yep.
Good. I think that's a good sacrifice. Like you don't need to spend thousands of dollars on a vacation if you need a house. The skipped meals, that's what bothers me the most.
No, I get you there.
Skipping food, like that's not good. That's just to me, that's not a good thing. And then now worked additional shifts, totally get that. Sold my belongings, borrowed money from friends and family, 17.9%. I'm hearing this a lot where the parents are giving the kids money to help them get into a house. I've had clients over the past few years where that exact thing happened where, parents were just like, here's like $50,000, to go get a home. The other one down here, okay, dipped into retirement savings. Big no. That bothers me.
Well, yes and no. Yes and no.
Well, if they're gonna pay it back, right? I
Yes.
mean, there are people that will, they'll say, "We have that program, right? You can borrow your 401k, and then you have a certain amount of time to pay it back."
Yep.
As long as you pay it back, that's fine. My concern is that these people may not ever be able to pay it back because they're pulling money out of it to make the payments or whatever, or to put a down payment,
Right.
and where's that extra money coming from to make the house payment? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, I
how
think
are
it's
they gonna have the extra money to put back into that retirement fund?
yes, I think the thing to if we look into, like, something like that, no, we don't know the ages specifically, like, that specific circumstances, but, like, um, if you were, at the rate of a regular return on real estate, though,
Mhm.
again, playing devil's advocate, um, could real estate appreciate faster than the money that's in that retirement account?
That's a good point. Yeah,
So you
you're
take
right.
out $25,000 out of that retirement account. Is it really about putting the money back, or is it about putting it into the real estate that's going to appreciate faster and actually make
Good
you
point.
more money?
That's right. That's right. That's an excellent point. You're so
So
smart.
that's why I'm not
That's why I have
fully,
you on.
well, I like to be like, knuckles up, let's go. I'll play the other side.
Yeah, and
I,
I appreciate that. And listen, I agree
he
with
was
you,
fun
but
in high school. I
Mhm.
liked it.
All right,
But no,
go up
but
to
it
the
but,
bar.
I
Hold on a
think
minute.
that I completely agree with you about the whole, like, I mean, skipped meals. I mean, skipped meals is different than eating macaroni and cheese, right? Like, David, did you see the comment by David Matney?
Yes, I know.
He's
I
he's
pulled that
maybe I should buy a home I could stand to skip a
up.
few meals.
Meals.
I'm with you, brother. I am with you too. I
Is
think,
that what we needed to do? Just
yeah,
skip meals so we could
gosh,
pay for our
that's
home?
what I need to play a head game and just be like, I need to save for something really badly and just, I don't know, just play the head game. I don't need to eat, but no, but I mean, seriousness, like, skipping meals versus cutting back. Now, skipping meals, what are, are they talking about people not eating entirely? Or could the
Let me
survey mean like, oh, we only ate out once a week this week?
That's a good point.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Let
Because
me go through the
people, I
article
think,
here.
like, I don't know about you, but growing up, like, I had, yeah, 4 younger brothers and sisters. We McDonald's was like a once a month maybe treat.
Mhm.
Like, we never, like, it just wasn't in
Oh, I
the
know.
scope of things,
Yep,
period. Like, and now fast forward, you hear these families and they're eating out 3, 4 times a week, and
yeah,
not just eating out at, like, fast food, but, like, eating out.
eating out.
Like,
I
I
know.
went to, I was, down visiting my, daughter at, college down in Connecticut over the
Mhm.
weekend, and I treated her and her beau, my younger daughter, my sister, 5 of us we went to Cheesecake Factory.
Oh my god, Cheesecake
And
Factory.
it was delicious. Do you know how much that bill was after tip?
That's why I'm cringing because
It
I
was
know how
$180 for
Yes.
5 people, and I'm talking like we did not order caviar.
Yeah.
There was no mixed drinks. I had iced tea. Like, there was no mixed drinks. That was just hun that's the thing that scares me. It's like, what are they talking about there? You know what I mean?
I know.
It's like,
It doesn't it doesn't say, it just said that skipped 22% skipped meals. So it doesn't say if they're just skipping going out to eat, just saying skip meals. So I'm taking it as they're just foregoing eating.
mm,
That's how I see it.
kinda,
But
and that's kinda, I mean,
that's a problem. That
sensational, you know, that will make people read an article a lot more than being like, "Oh,
true.
they ate out less." You
Well, it's possible. Maybe they did eat out less, but to me, skipping meals, that's a stick. I'm just thinking
yeah,
they're not buying food. They're cutting back on groceries in order to pay.
yeah,
That's
delayed
what I
or
think.
skipped healthcare medical payments, though,
Yeah,
mm,
that's a problem too.
I don't know that. I mean, yeah, that's a problem.
That's a
That's
big
not
problem, right?
that's if you're skipping medical payments, and again, I don't wanna come off as being judgy, or because I don't know anyone's particular
Exactly.
circumstance, but, if you're at a point, like, if you're in a home that is making you do this, then you need to move.
Yes. Sell the
You
house.
need to sell it, and if it's like, "Oh, there's nothing in my area," then you need to make the hard decision of either A, increase your income, get another job, or B, move to a different area. Like,
Well, it's great you bring this up. So we have, oops, I crap my pants. Hi,
I
welcome back.
love that handle. Come on now.
What's keeping folks from moving to North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska, Wyoming, Montana, et cetera, where housing is a third of the cost? Owning a home is now a luxury, perhaps.
Amen.
Yes.
Amen. I crapped
Yes.
my pants. Amen.
Yes. So, it's funny you bring this up because the video I just recorded today is coming out next Tuesday. It's about affordable cities where your dream home is still affordable. Now, a lot of these cities, people are just going to be like Chicago, Detroit, but you know what? People are now flocking there because the homes are like we're talking between $250,000 and $300,000, and the monthly
Jeez.
payment is like next to nothing. I think you're going to see a little revitalization in these cities that have been doing so poorly in the past few years because they, or longer than that. I mean, Detroit's had a bad rap for a really long time, but I think things are going to start to turn around because
Absolutely.
it's cheap housing.
And I mean, different places, different locations are draws for different people. Like people moving in locations to get closer to family, and that is of course, that is like, family, high priority, the whole 9 yards. But if it's a trade-off of not eating well, not taking care of yourself, and you're not able to work a different job or make more money, then you make the tough decision. I mean, I was talking with David Matney, who's on the stream today. He's out in
he's in Nebraska.
Yeah. And he was telling me like our median sale price here in South Coast Massachusetts, and we're typically a little less expensive than say in the city or close to the city.
Yeah.
It's like 600,000 and his is like half that.
I know.
So like if you're a remote worker, if you're working remote,
there you go.
There you go.
There you go.
So I mean, I know it's not that easy and it's easy to say that, pick up and leave or whatever, but I do think that in this society things have changed. And it's like people don't want to be uncomfortable and they don't want to do what they don't want to do. And they want to be able to still afford the new iPhone and do all, keep up with the Joneses and all the stuff. And it's like,
it's true.
I think that has contributed to the expectation of affordability.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Right. You're right. Because I mean, look, I don't want to knock the Gen Zers. I mean, I have Gen Zers myself, my own kids.
Same.
But they got stuck in that whole thing. And, I'm guilty of it. I let them get their iPhones when they were in high school and college and all that. And it's like, you know what? Now this is what they it's like the instant gratification.
Yeah.
They don't want to wait. They don't want to wait for it. So I mean, I can blame myself 10 times.
Well, and it's not about what we did yesterday or the day before. It's all about what we do today and tomorrow.
But look, my son, he's living up in your neck of the woods up in Quincy, Massachusetts. And listen, it's not easy on him. I mean, he's barely getting by and he's, he feels the pain, but I don't mind if he moved back home, but he's like, I don't want to move back home. He's like, going to do what I can to keep, to live on my own, which I commend that. But also,
and you know what? He's living, there for a reason. Moving out Western Mass would lighten his housing costs.
Totally.
And it's like if so that's where the gives the ebb and flow is. It's like, well, if he's willing to, shop at Walmart for groceries and
he does
7 days a week and really crimp and save so that he doesn't sit in a car for an hour or more.
Right. Yeah, it's right. Yeah, again, sacrifices, right? Yep. He had it good at our house, all the good meals, the good food, and he'll buy his food at either Walmart or Target. It's just, he's
That's
learned.
What I do. Are you kidding me?
I mean, I know who doesn't, right?
I mean, like,
I go to Aldi. Do you have Aldi's up by you?
Aldi's, Aldi's.
Aldi's.
I'm sorry, whatever. Up here in Massachusetts, it's Aldi's.
They're called Aldi's, okay?
Jersey Jackie, it's Aldi's.
So I like that store. It's cheap and
it is. My I'm very happy. My daughter, my college kid who's graduating in May, she's more frugal than I am. And I'm I'm just
Good.
she's, she's living on with she has a couple of roommates at her college, and she just scrimps and makes meals stretch, and she goes to Aldi's, and she's, like, teaching me about, like,
Yeah.
different deals and stuff like that,
Yep.
and, I'm, like, so grateful that she is, kinda seeing things through that lens, because
Yeah.
it's just gonna make it so much, less of a struggle. I mean, it's
Yeah.
gonna be a struggle no matter what. Like, I feel for her trying to buy a house and all the things,
I
but, I
Yeah.
mean, the struggle is the thing. That's the thing that we need to let our kids do. Um,
Yes.
and did you see that article that came out about, um, where did I find it here? It's, oh gosh, I'm gonna bring it up because it
Okay.
had to do with, maybe this is it right here. The Oracle of Wall Street, Meredith Whitney, about, the growing
Oh,
crisis of young American males.
yes.
Yeah, not moving
Yep.
out.
Yep.
So, I mean, it's a it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. The kids are
Mhm.
home and they don't wanna leave because it's very cushy,
Yep.
and they can have the meals and all the things, and
Exactly.
the baby in this case, the baby boomers, um, could, are say, "Oh gosh, they won't leave because then I can't sell, and because they won't leave." Well, why is that?
Mhm. Right.
Maybe you need to, like, lay down the law and be like,
I
"Hey, you got 6 months.
Yeah, it's time to go.
It's time for you to
Moving
get,
on.
you know,
I know. I get it.
fly, be free. Fly,
So
be
look
free."
So Jen, look at this. So David said 4 years ago out in Omaha, he said, "You can buy a brand new construction 3-bed, 2.5 bath for under $200,000." 4
Oh,
years
yeah, and he
ago.
did say in another comment that is the new construction is now
New
around
constructions now are over
310.
310.
Yeah, see, there you
Oh,
go.
but
Like,
even then, that's a bar. I mean, look, from to me, I'm like 310 here in Jersey, you're
well,
looking double that
okay, so
to
here's the
start.
thing. Here's the thing. If that's new construction at 310,
Yeah.
what does a two-bedroom little starter house that's not new construction cost? A
Yeah.
lot less than 310.
A
So
lot
there you
less.
go.
Exactly.
Like,
Yep.
there are. Is it ideal? No. Will your kids have to possibly share a bedroom? Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I grew up in a four-bedroom, bath and a half house with 7 people. Like, I shared a room with my sister, my other sisters.
God.
My only one who had a room to himself was my only brother,
Yeah.
right? Like, just made it work,
Yeah. Right, you do.
Kids
You
don't
make
all
it
need
work.
their own bedroom. Like,
Yeah. Yep, and David also says here, "I just don't see how people can buy a $600,000 home. It has to be so discouraging for young families." It is, like, more than discouraging, David. Like, here in Jersey, that's about our average price right now, and now I have to tell my clients, "Bring your price point down by $100,000 because you're gonna be bidding 100,000 over." Right? I had a client reach out to me last week. A house just came on the market here in my town, 699. And as soon as I saw it, I've seen this house before. It was on the market years ago. It's on the market. They have a big, beautiful pool in the backyard. And my client texted me. She's like, "Oh my gosh, this is great." But her max spend is 700,000. And I said, "This is going to go over 700." I said, we got to bring your price point down because this is where homes in our county, in Bergen County, this year are averaging between 90 to $120,000 over asking price.
what are you, the Beverly Hills?
It
Seriously.
Please,
Like,
please, please. Well, you
what
know what
is
it is?
going on?
It's because of
Oh, it's
this.
the Tony Soprano effect.
It's
I
Tony
get it.
Soprano. No, no, Tony Soprano. That was actually out in like Morris County, where that whole show was filmed. But anyway,
Okay.
which is they got money too out there. But Bergen County, it's because of the New York City factor, and those people are
Ah.
coming in here, and I since with the pandemic, I'm convinced they're the ones who pumped the prices up
Wow.
because they were desperate to get out and they threw any dollar amount at a house. So, okay, we get another comment. For the first time buyer is feeling it the worst. Move up buyers are just rolling equity to a bigger and better home. The downsizer is the clear winner. Yeah, right now it is. Definitely. The downsizers are making a lot of money.
Or anybody
Um,
moving from a place like, California, Massachusetts, to a New York City, moving, or New Jersey, moving
yep.
out of those areas
Yeah.
into a Texas, an Omaha, or,
Right.
Nebraska, any of those areas, um, it's just going the other way is a
Well,
little
listen,
scary, but
Texas, there's parts of Texas that are super expensive now. I mean, Austin prices went through the roof. My best friend's sister moved to was it Prosper, Texas? And
okay.
she paid over $900,000 for the house, and her taxes are like 16,000 a year.
Well, you know what that is? That's all the California effect. So when
Oh
everybody
yeah,
was
and
leaving,
she's from California, so there you
that's
go.
why. See, everyone
It's like
moving from
Jersey.
California,
Yeah,
right, during the pandemic, that's a lot everyone was moving out of California
yeah,
and going to Texas. So Texas prices went, and Arizona
yeah, and
went
same here in
absolutely
Jersey.
bonkers.
Yep. Yeah.
So
Yeah. You know, it's funny. I just met a client from California. He found me here on the channel and he wants to move here to Jersey. I could not believe how much, I think I told you this, Jen. I couldn't believe what he told me the homes were selling for out in the Bay Area.
mhm.
For a 2 bedroom, with just 1.1 million. And I'm like crying over here in Jersey, like, really?
I know
Never want to come to
this is what
Jersey.
I'm saying. This is like, it's a, you know, home affordability. Well, who's buying those homes? There's somebody buying those homes
They're
at
buying them.
1.4 million, 1.3 million. There's buying
Yep.
them, you
Yep.
know? So it's
Yep.
just, yeah. But yeah,
Yeah.
I know, I completely agree. First time home buyers, those are the ones that are, it just, you gotta just,
It's horrible for first time buyers right now.
it's again, for the sake of repeating myself, like I really, really think it's a matter of just adjusting expectations.
I know. Yep.
I mean, that's how you get in. It's like if you don't see something, well, then you need to either pick a different location or you need to adjust your expectations for your budget and look at a different type of house.
Exactly.
And you can work up to it. And you work
Even
up to the next house.
listen, you could even go to a condo or a
I think
townhouse if you wanna
condos are a
start up
great
there.
stepping stone because you don't have to worry about most of the times exterior maintenance and,
Yeah.
all that, if you're in a cold climate, shoveling or
Yeah,
lawn mowing and all that kind of
I
stuff.
think
And
they're
it's like
great.
easing into home ownership.
I
Um,
I agree with you. Mike the Whistler, hello, Mike, welcome back. Anything habitable, 30 to 50 plus over asking in Middlesex County. Everything closing 500,000 plus in both counties I track, Middlesex and Bergen. Yeah, I'm glad you're tracking it, Mike, because it's like I look at it every day and like my stomach turns when I see what these houses are selling for. I'm just baffled. Baffled. I'm my clients a couple weeks ago. We unfortunately lost a bidding war. The house ended up going like well over 100,000. Over. I'm just
I did a,
why?
I did a valuation. I was telling you, earlier this afternoon, I did a valuation for a client on last week and went through the comps and I spend hours, typically, going through and analyzing the data to make sure that obviously we don't leave any money on the table, but also like, we don't want to cross that line and end up, you know, I recommend a price and then they end up sitting, right? And the house doesn't end
Mm.
up selling with the roofs and
Mhm.
all the things. So I went forwards and backwards. That big house, the one with has a family and then, it's an in-law and the in-law is gorgeous and all the things. And it's in a great location. And so I
Mhm.
put the price together and I meet with them and go through all the data and I tell them, okay, based on my data, this is what you're looking at. And the price was like $1 million. They bought it, uh, they bought it about 6 years ago for like a little less than half that.
Oh
And
my gosh.
they were like, "You're kidding." And I asked, I said, "Well, what were your expectations?" Right? And they said, "Honestly, Jen, we thought high 8 to 850, high." And I said, "Well, the data doesn't lie and the market's there and I have everything to support it and it might even be more depending on when we do get it on the market and what's happens with
Oh,
interest rates and all the
absolutely.
things." They were
Yep.
floored. They were like, "You're kidding me." I'm like, "I don't know." I'm like, "I'm shocked too, to be honest, every day." Just like you just said, Jen.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like amazed every day something comes up on MLS and I'm going, "Am I getting old?" Am
Yeah.
I like, I'm like, "Back in my day, that would be 560." When I listed it, like,
Exactly.
I'm
Back in
like, "That's
back in my
not
day
fair."
4 years ago, that was half,
Well,
it was
yeah.
half the
And
price.
and and I sit there and I go, "There is no way that there," and then I'm like, "It's pending."
Scary.
What?
Yep. It's so scary.
Yeah,
Just
it's a
it
moving target. It's a moving target.
Well, look, the thing now, the feds haven't even, they're holding back on lowering the rates because they're fearful that the buyers are going to flood the market again and the prices are just going to continue to go up.
Yeah,
But
well, that's, I think, is actually what's gonna happen, right? I think that if there's a lot of talk about what that magic number is, and I really think that 6% is the magic percentage. Like, if
I
it gets
say,
down to if I
I
gets
think
down to
it's 5.
6,
Yeah, well, I think 5 is going to be the magic number to motivate people to sell. I think
yeah,
that's
I think that the buyers are gonna come out of the woodwork, though, when you get down, like,
when
I
you get
think it's
down the
gonna be a
bottom. Yeah.
two-part process. Like, to your point, the people will be like, "Oh, this is like, okay, this is it gets my payment down, down to where, because still hovering around just under 7%, right? Gets down to 6, it's a full percentage price, full
Yeah.
percentage drop. And I think you're absolutely right. I think it's gonna be people that are selling, and then it's gonna be like, oh gosh, somebody has something to sell. Like, I need to buy, like,
Yeah.
and prices are gonna go
It is.
even higher.
It'll continue. Francis O'Boyle, thank you for being here, Francis. All of that overbidding is going to come to an ugly end and very soon. Listen, I would love to see it come to an end. Honestly, I've said this for the past couple of years. The market needs a reset, like now. Yesterday, it needed a reset. We have to, like, it's got to give. Something has to give. I
It's the question is what? The reset, the last major reset was due to a huge financial calamity
I know.
on Wall Street and in
I
the
know.
banking industry. It had nothing to do with it. It wasn't related to real estate pricing or
True.
values. It wasn't that. It caused all of that craziness,
Right.
but the reason why the market just imploded was triggered by that
Yeah.
outside, right? So
Mhm.
we don't that because of all that, all these restrictions and regulations were put in place, that doesn't exist anymore.
Mhm.
So what is it that the only thing that could potentially upend things, right, is, I think, if the job market tanked.
Well,
I think that's the
glad you
only
brought that
trigger.
up.
Like, I don't think that prices going up is gonna be that's not enough. I think that the reason why prices are going up is because of the abundance of buyers. And if
Mhm.
buyers decide to pull back because they don't have a job, then now you're gonna see more that those scales tip out, even out, and you're gonna have less buyers to the same number of sellers. What do you think?
Yes. Well, I'm glad you brought this up because I had this article on deck to share.
One brain, you and I, one brain,
With
I'm
one
telling you.
brain, Jen, one brain.
Yep.
US sees robust job growth, but the housing market could suffer. So that's exactly what you're talking about. We need the job market to tank. And this is what my mortgage partner tells me all the time. He said, he goes, job market's good. He goes, well, the rates aren't going to come down. Nothing's going to happen as long as the job market is still strong. So it says right here, um, however, it also wait, let me go back here. A low unemployment rate is good for the housing market, but most people don't buy homes if they're unemployed or worry they're about to be laid off. However, it also means the US Federal Reserve may hold off cutting interest rates for a little longer as it tries to bring inflation down to the 2% target. This is expected to keep mortgage rates higher for longer. It's a mixed bag, says Danielle Hale, chief economist at Realtor.com. The weaker the labor market appears, the more likely we'll see rate cuts sooner. But the more likely it is people will struggle to find jobs and not be interested in making large purchases like homes. And it goes on to say mortgage rates averaged 6.82% in the week ending April 4th. That's down about a percentage point from the fall when rates were nearing 8%. So again, you're right. The job market is what's going to close this out. Hold on. The job market is what's going to make it all crash, go away.
That would be the thing. It's not, well, yeah, I wouldn't say that it's going to, but it has the potential for it. If
It
that
does.
It has
It
the
does.
potential. It has
But
the
if
potential for, and I don't think I mean, you look at the last 50 years, and real estate values go up, they go adjust. They go up, they go
Mhm.
adjust. The reason why there was such a big, huge adjustment in 2006, 7, and 8 is because we had such a long stretch. We had a
Mhm.
little bit of a blip in 2001, right? The
Yeah.
market was about 2000, it was poised for an adjustment. It actually started to. and then 9/11. And
Right.
9/11, everything rallied, and then we had a huge spike, right?
Yep.
And then it went up and up, and it was like a freight train out of control. And
Mhm.
then by that point, because we didn't have a sizable enough adjustment, it was overinflated market.
Yep.
And we're poised for that again. Like
We're in it right now.
we've recovered, right?
Yeah.
And made up some, but I mean, it will adjust. I mean, I thought we were gonna have a little bit of adjustment last year when it was like, oh, things are kind of settling down. The rates went up. We had that big spike in rates very quickly, and things kind of settled down. I'm like, this is where we're going to see things settle down. And
Yeah.
then it never happened.
No.
And it never happened because of just, I mean, I think the thing that will slow things down is the market needs more homes to
That's what I
sell.
was gonna say. It's
That's
because of this
all that's
inventory.
what will put the brakes on the train. We need the government to step in to ease building restrictions and give builders more choices and opportunities to build affordable housing. If they
Yep.
do that, there's gonna be more properties on the market,
Yep.
which will free up and give opportunities for first-time home buyers and people looking for affordable housing, and now those people aren't gonna be out overbuilding on these other properties.
Exactly. Yep.
So, it's just that's what needs to that's what just
So, Jen, it
crazy.
just got me thinking, what's the new construction like up in Massachusetts?
We have, like, a couple communities,
Okay.
right? Big communities. We have one actually, Pine Hills is, like, one of the largest mixed-use communities in the country. It's, like, well over 3,500 homes
Oh,
in this
wow.
neighborhood. I mean, they have their own fire station, their own post office. It's just it's
Oh my
big.
gosh.
Um, and they've been building in there for 20 years, right? So and they're
Mhm.
still building. But we have some larger, but that's a small percentage of the market.
Yeah.
It's a very small because it's a upper end,
Mhm.
um, a lot of it is upper end, price range above
Yep.
the median, home price.
Yeah.
But it's not like I would say in terms of percentage, I don't know exactly. I couldn't tell you exactly what the percentage is, but I would venture to say like maybe 10%.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not a huge because the fact of the matter is like there's just availability of land.
We get the same problem here.
It just we
Yep.
don't have a lot of open space. I mean, Plymouth is 102 square miles, but we have a huge national forest right smack dab in the middle of the town. So you ain't building
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. Yeah. No, they just need to keep building, homes out in Nebraska, right, Dave? That's what we gotta do.
Yeah, I no
Seems like
kidding.
all the land's out there.
No
Alright.
kidding.
Francis says they lost control of the rates and they are moving higher even without them. Rates are going higher. I hope not. I hope they don't go higher. That's gonna be a problem. Yeah, David says exactly. Yeah, see,
Yeah,
David?
I haven't seen the rates go exponentially higher. I haven't actually checked the
No,
Mortgage
they've been
Bankers
hovering
Association.
They've been hovering around like 7%, high 6s, it depends on the day. I know last week they were at 7, they went up and, but yeah, like as of today, I wanna say they're about for a 30-year, I think it was
7.11.
thank you, it was at 7%. 15
Yep.
years, like 6.6 something.
Yep, 6 point that
Yeah.
one brain. One brain. You're exactly right, 6.60.
See? See, Jen, this is why you're here.
I do, I feel you. I feel you.
I love it. So, Jen,
Jackie.
what
Yes, Jackie.
sorry. The eclipse, it's like got me all
It's you
like
know what? When the earthquake happened, I swear to God, Jackie, I swear to God, I think that my brain was like, ugh, because I'm like,
yeah, it definitely rattled
right? You
me
feel
for
that?
sure. It rattled me for, like, the longest time. I'm like, "What? I cannot believe I just sat through that." Telling you, I told my daughter, like, when after that happened, and she was like, "Wha I can't believe that." I go, "Yep, see, look, earthquake, eclipse is coming, the world's coming to an end. That's it, we're
World's
done.
coming to an end.
We're done.
Go buy a
But
house.
go don't even bother." People are gonna be like, "So should I stop paying my rent, paying my mortgage because the world's gonna end?" Like, "No, don't do that.
Can
Just"
I share a can I share an article?
You sure can.
Let me see if I can
I
do this.
welcome that.
So this article, I came across this article. Can you see it? Oh,
Yeah, let me
you
pull
got
it
it.
up.
You got it.
Got it.
There we go. So very interesting. So last time we were on the live stream, we talked about this, about, I mean, the answer to getting, home construction and, fueling the inventory and all the things, satisfying that demand. Part of that is decrease in materials, but it's also a increase in skilled labor, right? We need more skilled labor, period. And it's been the trend, right? For how many years? I mean, you have college age kids. I have a college age kid. I got another one that's going into college. And they are like trained to be like, okay, so at the end of high school, what are you going to do? Which college are you going to go to? And this has been the track, right? For years. And as a result, this is why we have this lack of skilled labor. And I came across this article on Friday. I thought it was super interesting because it is, I think, is what we need. And it's, Gen Z are increasingly choosing trade schools over college to become welders and carpenters because it's a straight path to a six-figure income. Now, this makes sense.
God.
I mean, have you called a plumber or an electrician lately?
Oh, yeah.
The cost is exorbitant amount of money.
Ridiculous. And the reason is because there's not that many people out there, just not that many plumbers. That's why it's so expensive right now.
Absolutely. And if anything, for these young people, I say kids, well, they're kids to you and I guess, right? The Gen Zs. And I mean, it's actually encouraging to say that, okay, you know what, you don't have to make a choice of going to college and getting a desk job and making a nice salary versus going to a trade and be considered less than because you're making less money. It's like, no, it's an even playing field. What would you like to do? And this is what we need, because this will help bring that, bring that, bring that new construction, more laborers, maybe drive down the cost of the new construction a little bit, or just at the very least make it more, possible for new construction.
Absolutely.
It said that enrollment in vocational focused community colleges rose 16% last year to its highest level since the National Student Clearinghouse began tracking data since 2018. The same data shows a 23% surge in students studying construction trades in 2023 compared to the year before. 23%.
That's awesome.
Which is crazy, and a 7% increase in HVAC and vehicle maintenance and repair programs.
Yep.
Why the shift? People are starting to pay attention. Mike Rowe. I love Mike Rowe. I really like Mike Rowe. I think he's funny as heck, and he has a whole. Yeah, oh, here it is right here. The CEO of Mike. He has
Mike Rowe Works Foundation.
Yep,
That's what
he does, like so much for getting subsidized training and things like that to these people that really want to do this work. So, oh yeah, and here it is. I didn't even read this part to be perfectly honest. But this is exactly what I was talking about. It's, college kids, students were sold a lie. College setting students back an average of $36,000 in change per year. My daughter's graduating with a boatload of debt. She's well qualified. She's been well educated, and but it's a lot. But I mean, this is it right here. If you want proof, look no further than the fastest growing job in the U.S. Wind turbine service technician, up to $103,000 a year. Sign me up. Although I'm afraid of heights, so that wouldn't work. But
you know what? I would do that job.
Would you really?
Why not?
I would do
the way real estate's going right now. I think I'm going to need to do that.
You know what? In another life, I think I'd be an electrician. I think I would do. I love everything and all things electrical and technical. I think I'd be an electrician. But
I don't know what I would do. Honestly, it's not like I'm not really not creative, like my hands and stuff, like, doing this stuff on YouTube and getting creative at that. Like I can do that.
I was just going to say, you know what you could do?
What?
You could be a YouTuber.
Look at that.
Wait.
But wait.
We're living the dream.
We are.
It says once more, the median pay for new construction hires $48,000 last year compared to $39,000. This $10,000 increase. Gen Z is starting to realize they've been pushed in a direction that frankly doesn't lead to a place where they want to go. I mean, I think that this is Awesome.
So, can I add to that? Let's talk. So
Yes.
now I have one that's graduating high school right now, and in the whole college process, what we've learned, and I've been reading articles about this, a lot of universities now, like even the big name universities, are suffering and they're doing budget cuts because enrollment has been going down since the pandemic. And I think the reason being is that during the pandemic, and look, I can speak from experience, I had one in college during that where they went virtual and we were paying the same 60 something thousand
I
dollars
know.
to send him there, and for virtual. I'm like, are you kidding me? And I think people got turned off by that. So that was an
Yep.
eye opener. And the other thing is, I will tell you, is like, especially here in Jersey, look, we got great public schools. I will say that, but it's a business, right? They
Oh, absolutely.
they tout the AP classes, right? Like, oh my, this high school offers, 30 different AP classes and you can earn college credit, blah, 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 blah. And then don't tell me that they're getting some type of incentives, right? For offering these courses. I think that's how they're.
Yeah, we could absolutely, I could go on a tangent on the way I feel about the public school
But
system, but,
well, the
you
thing
know,
is, but this is why they're not pushing the trades. So
yes.
now
Yes.
my middle son graduated in 2022 from high school. He did try to go to a trade school, was out in Pennsylvania. He hated it. Came home. He's still trying to figure out the next step. I'd love for him to get back into a trade school. But my point to this is, when he was in high school and he first started mentioning, I think I want to go to a trade school, you think the guidance counselor had any clue about what trade schools were available? No.
No.
He did all the research. He did all the research and then presented it, and like, oh, yeah, okay, I think you can look at this, and like, it
I
just
know.
drives me crazy because it's needed. The trades are needed, and the high schools need to get on board and start encouraging kids. If you're like, yeah, college isn't for me, well, let's look into a trade. What about
Yep.
being a carpenter? What about being a plumber, an electrician?
Yep.
Yeah, I know I could go on for days about the public school system,
You
but
and me both.
shut
You
up.
and me both, because it does, I think at the end of the day, it is all driven by politics and money.
It is. It
Everything.
totally is. It totally
And,
is.
I feel like, and we're going off on a tangent here, so
I know. I'm sorry.
apologize to the viewers, but,
But I
uh,
just gotta point that out because it's like, it starts at that level. It starts at the high schools, right? You wanna get the when
absolutely.
you
I
need
feel like
trades.
I'm a deprogrammer. When my kids would come home, I feel like, "Okay, so they told you that. Okay, so you need." I would tell my older daughter when she would go see a guidance counselor, I would say, "Okay, so I want you to ignore everything that she just said."
Yeah.
She actually told her, she's my kid. She said to my kid, "Don't even bother applying to that one because 'cause you're probably never gonna get in."
Oh, we have counselors like that too. Uh-huh. Yeah.
I'm like,
Uh-huh.
"Okay, so bad advice. Let's not listen to that lady."
Exactly. Talk about, like, let's just squash your dreams just a
And
little
that's
bit.
and that's not
Yeah.
a dig on her. That's like you said, that's everywhere.
It is
It's
everywhere.
everywhere.
It's very frustrating. I just had to put this comment up here that I see 10,000 subs coming soon. Thanks for pointing that out. I'm getting very excited about that.
That's
I'm like,
awesome.
had this channel for over 4 years, and it's like, I'm finally going to get 10,000
Well, you're
subs.
putting out good content
It
there,
took me a
Jackie
long
Baker.
time, and you're going to be there too soon, my friend.
Yeah, you do the right thing. You try to get some education out,
Yes.
provide information, help people, and,
Yep.
you
So
know?
Francis O'Boyle says the current situation is far worse than the great financial crisis. It just has not hit Main Street yet. Post election, I assume what's SHTF mean? Do you know understand that?
Nope.
Okay. Shit's gonna hit the fan. Shit's gonna hit the fan.
Yeah, we go.
Yay!
Bing, bing,
Yay
bing,
for
bing,
me.
bing, 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 bing.
Yay! I figured it out. So
Yeah, I think that, oh, you know what? That article that I pointed out earlier, the one that, about the Oracle of Wall Street, can I
yeah,
bring that up again?
yeah, yeah. Throw it up there.
Um, because here's the thing about that. So this woman, did I show this to you earlier? I don't even remember. Anyways,
Mm,
this
we
this
talked about it. You didn't show me. You didn't
oh,
see
okay.
this. Okay.
So this woman, Meredith Whitney,
Yes.
right? she is, they're calling her the Oracle of Wall Street, and the
Yep.
reason for it is because she made some claims that predicted the fall of, the financial crisis of,
Yes.
of '07, '08. And she saw some things on Wall Street, mortgage-backed securities, the whole 9 yards, and predicted it, and it happened. So
Mhm.
she goes on, and now she's making these other big claims. First, she claimed about the silver tsunami, and
Yes.
how all these boomers are going to come and they're going to flay a wave. And you and I've talked about that wave of all these boomer homes that are going to come and they're going to flood the market, and then the
Mhm.
market's going to collapse. She's been saying that for years. Never happened.
Yep.
Because they're staying, and all the reasons that we've talked about, like, they're gonna stay in their homes longer. They are staying, they're living longer, they're
Mhm.
working longer. They're not all coming at once.
Right.
They are going to sell, but it's gonna happen over the next, instead of a 2 or 3 year period, it's gonna happen over 10 to 15 years,
Mhm.
because it's gonna be very, very slow, because people are aging in place, and
Exactly.
and multi-generational and all. Okay. So she predicted that. That didn't happen. Now she's saying that, um, the growing crisis of young American male could send home prices falling for years and even decades. So now she's saying that young American men, if young men staying single longer, and then you have what I call a growing crisis of the young American male. They're twice as likely to live at home than women. So 1 out of 5 young men live at home with their parents, and these aren't young men going to college and coming home from when holiday breaks. They are young, grown men choosing to live at home. The outcome could have a profound effect on the housing market. She said, I think you're going to start seeing housing prices begin in a multi-year decade decline just due to supply and demand. So you've got so yeah, so you've had a demand supply imbalance, more demand, less supply. And I think it's going to invert. So she goes on to say, the bulk of the housing is owned by people in households over 40. Household formations are the lowest, which they are.
Yeah.
Slow decline on housing formations because of the whole affordability,
Mhm.
which translates into a demand problem. So this is not her. This is the writer of the article. It goes on to say, yet, many experts have predicted that home prices will continue to go up from here. Mortgage rates have
Mhm.
reached decade high last year. People were still buying homes, and because they simply aren't enough homes. Demand outweighs supply, keeping some prices high. Whitney, however, is calling it differently as shifts within the housing world and apparently young male adults occur. The last sentence is the clincher. It is not clear what data she is referring to here, or if the information, or in the
Then
information above.
then why are they putting it in there?
So the point of me saying this is that, yes,
Sorry.
there are people out here touting that things are going to collapse, and all the, things are going to absolutely crumble,
Mhm.
but there's no data to support it. There's
True.
no data to support any of those things happening. I mean,
Yep.
I think that in the age that we're in now, we're so lucky to have the data.
Yeah.
Nobody's a gatekeeper. Like, you're not standing waiting, you're not at the mercy of a politician or even an economist to say this is going to happen, and then you have no choice but to believe it.
Mhm.
You can make those assumptions yourself because the data is public.
Right.
The data is available. And if you don't have data to back it, and yes, you can twist the data and make the data, seem like you want it, the way you want to see it. Okay. But if you have 30 people saying that this is how we're interpreting the data, and we have one person saying, but I think it's going to be this way. I don't know.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. I totally see what you're saying about that.
Yeah,
But
it's just
with
hard.
this
It's
it
hard. You know what I
thi
mean?
with this Whitney person, whatever, I mean, I feel like just because she predicted the great financial crisis, now everyone's, like, looking at her like, "Oh, she's, this is it." Like, what she says is word, and, it's like it's the Bible and all that, and she's, we got to listen to her. No. I mean, just because she was right that one time, and now
So
she's throwing out all this other
so here
crap.
would be the thing, that the thing that I would say to people that are, you know, about talking about the crash and so on and so forth. I don't think there's gonna be a crash. I do think that there will be an adjustment, like we just talked about. I think there
Oh,
will be an
1,000,000%.
adjustment.
There'll be a correction. Yeah.
However, say the correction comes in 2 years,
Okay.
right? We finally start to see the correction, and say the market appreciates 5%. Maybe it's
Mhm.
super modest, 5% each
Okay.
year, okay? Now you buy a $100,000 house, 5,000, 105 the next year, right?
Mhm.
The next year after that, you're talking, and now it's up another 100 and 112,
Mhm.
right? Now,
Yeah.
if it adjusts, I think it won't be a crash, like the whole thing's gonna implode. I think it's gonna be a kind of a slower decline, maybe
Yeah.
as whatever happens, whether it be job market or more inventory or whatever. So now it's like, okay, but in the meantime, while your home prices are going up, your valuation's going up, you're paying down the mortgage. And if you're improving the property, you're making that property even more valuable, regardless of the market. You're improving that property. So
That's
when that
right.
adjustment happens, guess what? You started here, you landed, it's here, it starts to adjust. Oh, it adjusted here. You're still in the green. You bought it. You still value is
That's
still worth
right.
more than what you bought. And here, and real estate has always been the long game, right?
Absolutely. Yes.
Long game. So if you're gonna buy a house and you're gonna be in it for 10 years or whatnot, so it goes down, well, guess what? Whatever comes down also goes back up.
It goes back up. Always does.
Always
Always does.
does. People that bought and
Yep.
that almost lost their shirts and were in tough situations in the crash, the financial crash of '07, '08,
Yep.
they said the prices would never be that high again.
Here we are.
And I would put money on the fact that in 10, 15, 20 years from now, prices will be substantially higher than they are now,
Oh, they will.
even after an adjustment. So,
Absolutely. Absolutely. It can only go up from here. It's not gonna go down. It's not gonna
no, and
crash.
it's you just gotta look backwards. You gotta look backwards not just at one crash, but you gotta look at the entire 50-year history of the real estate market
Mhm.
and see what the trends are, and then you'd be like, "Oh, okay, so if I'm looking at one singular point of the crash, that's like a very small data set." You take a step back and be like, "Oh, yes, it's a crash, but what
Mhm.
happened after that crash? What happened before the crash?" That $80,000 condo that I bought in 1997
Yeah.
is worth it's worth it. Did it go up and then go down? Yes, but guess what it's selling for now? It's like $300,000.
Mhm.
Do I wish I held on to it? Yes, I do. I wish I didn't sell it. I wish I held on to it for a
Shoulda,
long-term
coulda,
investment,
woulda. Shoulda,
but
coulda, woulda.
it is what it is. But
Yep.
anyways, that's just my 2 cents on
All right. Just
anyways.
had this last comment from Inessa. Thanks for joining us. Kids are skipping starter homes because they're not available. Yeah, that. I know a lot of the clients I work with, the millennials, they're not buying starter homes.
I know.
They're going right into the, the big home. But Jen, we are oh wait, really quick. David's got another comment here. Where were all of the people who were predicting the crash in 2018? Did these experts predict the run up of prices? What people in 2018?
He's probably talking about the Crash Bros.
Oh, the Crash Bros. Sorry. It's late.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. The Crash Bros are, yeah, they're still out there saying the market's crashing. They're just
That's
anywho,
how that's how they feed
that's how
their
that's how they
YouTube
make their money
channels.
on YouTube. Exactly. So
So
Jen, we're almost at an hour and I gotta do a shameless plug for us.
the shameless plug. Oh, yes.
Shameless
You
plug.
gonna pull it up on the screen?
I am pulling it up right now.
Rock and
So
roll, baby. Let's go.
we want to share with everybody. Jen and I started a podcast. You ready?
Let's go.
Reddit real estate disasters. We are on every podcast service, right?
We're
Jen?
everywhere.
Yeah,
We
we're
are
everywhere.
everywhere. We're in your nightmares, when your dreams. We're
We're,
everywhere.
we're on Spotify, Apple.
Spotify, Apple, iHeartRadio,
Yes.
Amazon Music, like
Yep.
everywhere that would take us.
Yes. So we're
That's
on YouTube and definitely check us out on all the podcast sites. It's a lot of fun. We read stories from Reddit of people who had like real estate disasters,
yeah, and
buying a home,
it's a
owning
lot
a
less
home.
lot less formal than this.
Oh yes.
There's a little bit of language
It's okay.
Let my potty mouth go.
But we're respectful.
Oh yeah, 100%.
We're totally respectful.
But it's very much like if I had hair, I'd let it down. If I had hair, I'd let it down.
I think we let our hair down pretty well in that. So anyway, if you guys get a chance, we'd love for you to listen to it and share it with your friends. We hope you like it. Give us some feedback. If you have any stories, nightmare stories,
yeah, that's
share.
I would say, like, if anybody sees a Reddit story that they're like, oh my God,
yeah,
oh my God, you guys would never believe this is too, like, anything to do with real estate. Cause like, not just real estate, like transaction stuff, but like anything and everything. This guy put a fence up, ended up being like, two neighbors, like whatever, you know what I mean? Or I don't know. You know what? Think about the craziest thing that you ever thought of, and then dub twice.
Yeah. But if you listen to some of these episodes on our podcast, there were some pretty good ones there, like some really like crazy stuff where you're just like, what? How did that happen? But anyway, so Jen, I appreciate you being with me again tonight.
As always, it's a pleasure.
It's so
100%.
Love having you. So we will be back next week, and I'll be back next week. Unless I can convince Jen to come back again. I'm not doing it to you, Jen.
I do. If anybody's interested, I do a live stream.
Yes, she does.
4 p.m. Eastern on the same day, which is why I'm drinking my this is tea. This is just regular tea.
Jen, let me just pull up your channel really quick so everybody can know where to find you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Hold on 1 second. Here she is. The Savvy Home Seller. Hold on a minute. Where'd you go? I'm going to share this. Present, share. Here she is. Here is Jen's channel.
Yes, ma'am.
Savvy Home Seller. Be sure to check out her channel. She's got some really great stuff. And again, she does live streams on Mondays at 4 p.m. Eastern time. So be sure to check her out if you want to get more real estate information.
And you'll probably see Jackie there.
Yeah, I'm coming on what, in like 2 weeks?
Or sooner, maybe. We'll see.
Something like that. We'll see. I'll be there. I will be there. But
it's fun hanging out with you, Jackie.
It's always fun hanging out with you, my friend. So I appreciate everyone joining us tonight for the discussion. And we'll be back next Monday night. Everybody have a great week. Take care.
Ciao.
Bye.